Okay, everyone, welcome to my presentation for my final project for digital media innovation. I called my project. Let me start off first. Is a digital media platform. Essentially, it kind of blends three different types of media: digital video content, audio podcasting, and blogging content. Kind of blended into one unique, over-the-top platform. Fit for the trend that digital media is kind of going across a versatility of different platforms, and how people have kind of migrated towards using these types of digital platforms as well. So, okay, so to start off, the challenge here. So obviously today's media industry offers such an expansive, in-depth portfolio of content for consumers to access, whether it be digital video, whether it be television shows, movies, original content, short-form content, blogging content, podcasts, and so much more. There's even platforms like Twitch now where you can stream video games. There's virtual reality platforms where you can stream digital interactive 360-degree video. There's all different kinds of platforms out there today, and there's so much content that the digital space essentially provides a bunch of new platforms to access this content. So one of the problems that I see with this, with the rise in these digital platforms, is that new platforms will lead to more fragmentation, where it could be frustrating for the consumer to have to migrate to a bunch of different platforms to kind of get where they need to be to get the content that they want. So the question I proposed here was, how can we streamline digital media content into one cohesive platform that's very user-friendly? Okay, to add a little bit of... so statistics show a tremendously thriving digital media landscape. As we know, Netflix, Facebook, and podcasts are three of the most popular media content platforms on the internet today in the digital space. Netflix has just recently crossed over 100 million subscribers. So put that in perspective. 100 million subscribers are paying roughly $9.99 a month to Netflix. That shows you kind of how well they're performing in an aspect, and they're cranking out all kinds of new content on a regular basis. So Netflix is really doing well. Facebook has just recently crossed over the 2 billion subscriber mark recently. And Facebook has essentially dominated the social media industry over the past decade. It's tremendous to watch the rise over the past few years, and how it's become more than just a social platform, but just an element of overall life in the digital space. Facebook is a major player. And a recent study shows that over 55 million people are listening to podcasts on a monthly basis. So definitely the number is up, and it's rising. And podcasts are taking ground as a popular media platform out there. So how can we take these elements, how can we add to this success? How can we kind of streamline and put all the content that we love and enjoy to consume into one easy-to-use platform? So the concept that I created here is called Cylinder. There's really no meaning behind the title. I just kind of came up with it because I thought it sounded cool, and it's kind of the brand. It's the top-of-mind awareness kind of marketing tactic that I went with to create a name that just kind of sticks in your mind. So Cylinder, so it's a fully integrated digital media network that unifies the best content in digital media today under one user-friendly umbrella. So we take the best of digital video, we take the best of audio podcasts, and we take the best of blogs and editorial content, and we blend it into one unified platform that can be accessed anywhere in your laptop, your smart television, your Apple TV device, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, or your smartphone, of course. So it's any platform, anytime. It's essentially digital media without limits is what I would make the marketing slogan. In addition to this, any platform, anytime. I could see it on a big Times Square billboard now. Just the Cylinder logo and writing any platform, anytime, something like that. But that's, again, when we move down the line and take this thing from concept to market. Okay, so how the platform works. Cylinder at the jump will ask consumers to create a standard username and login to access the platform, and with the username and password, it will allow the user to create a profile, which essentially works sort of like a social media platform, where it will allow them to access and customize the content they want. It'll remember what content they view and recommend some different content that they may enjoy, similar to how a YouTube or a Spotify would work, where it'll recommend songs that you might like. Cylinder will do the same thing. So this username and password will allow the consumer to sign in on any digital platform, as we mentioned, television devices that are connected to an internet connection, laptops, mobile devices, and other types of technologies of the liking. The user can also, as we mentioned, customize their profile. And in addition to that, they're encouraged to link their social media platforms, so their Facebook, their Twitter, whatever content, even Snapchat, link their favorite social media platforms to the Cylinder platform. Therefore, they could share their favorite content. If they like a certain podcast or a certain video on the platform, they could share it to all their network of friends. Hence, it's twofold. It's helping our advertisers who would sign on theoretically get more exposure, and it gets a bigger selling point for us to pitch them to join our platform to be an advertising partner. And it also creates awareness for our content as well. It makes our content more valuable. It builds fan bases for our content. Hence, would then theoretically grow the platform as a whole organically through social media. So social media is definitely encouraged, and we would work on developing a way to streamline that and seamlessly link up all of these networks together with the Cylinder platform. Okay, so the interface, and after I'm done with the presentation, I'll show a prototype that I kind of worked up. So it's an easy to use interface. Again, this is just a mock-up. Again, we would make it a little more crisper and cleaner as we bring it to market, and a little more technological and complex as we get there. But just the kind of a mock-up of what it would look at. We don't want to crowd the top too much with too many buttons or options. We want to kind of keep it simple. So we'd have a home tab here where it would feature the latest trending videos, articles, and podcasts that are in the Cylinder network. And initially what we would do is begin with offering original Cylinder content. The content that we create, we hire producers and content creators to curate for the Cylinder platform. And in time, depending on the success that the market shows for Cylinder, we will work on licensing and get some different licensed content onto the platform as well to kind of compete with other streaming platforms out there. But to kind of begin, we'd start with creating original content that Cylinder owns and displays on our site. Content that we can control. So the first page here kind of shows the latest trending videos, the editorial content and podcasts that Cylinder puts out. And then the buttons up top here will kind of link you to a page specifically for videos only, and then a page which will have more videos, original series, and some other different things, and all related to video. And then the audio tab will send you to a page dedicated to podcasts solely, and all the podcasts that Cylinder creates. And then the text tab will take you directly to our blog, our portfolio of blogs and different editorial content as well. And I want to find a way, and here kind of in the center here, I kind of developed it's a kind of a scroll bar that would allow the user to scroll some different trending topics as well. I think it's kind of a neat feature that I would kind of include in the platform as well. So again, as we mentioned before, at the end of each video, podcast, or blogging content, editorial content, there'll be a share button where people can instantly click, and it'll go out to all of their social media platforms, and they can pick which platform they want simply by just linking it up to their Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, or whatever the favorite platform is. They can instantly share it out as well. Okay, so the content portfolio, what is going to attract the consumer? So we kind of mentioned audio, podcasts, videos, and blogging content. So just to kind of dive in a little bit deeper here, we want to feature lifestyle blogging content. So fitness, food, relationships, things like that. Long-form audio podcasts. I'm a big fan of these. Long-form one-on-one discussion podcasts as well. Interviews with interesting people. And we break that down into a long-form audio podcast that people can, subscribe, and they can access on the Cylinder platform, and they can also access it on their iTunes or Google Play platforms as well, whatever they wish. We want to make this, the goal here is to make this as user-friendly as possible. I think that's the only way we're going to win here and make this platform successful, because if we want to make it strictly only accessible through Cylinder's platform, where it's going to require the user to use a lot of data, I think you're going to upset some people and maybe turn away some people. So for the long-term growth, we want to make this as user-friendly as possible, and we want to make it play nice, so to say, with as many platforms as possible. So for podcasting, I kind of created a sample podcast, like a 2-minute thing, which I'll show you in the next slide, called Coffee with Carl, where I just interview somebody and to kind of give you just a sense, give you a visual or an audio sample of what the podcast would sound like. We want to have original video series. We're seeing platforms like Netflix or even Apple Music create their own digital video series now. Some different examples, like Carpool Karaoke from James Corden is now on Apple Music as an original series. I believe Vimeo and some other platforms are also have original series. So we want to definitely dive into that field, where people can essentially watch a television show, but access it on any platform they want at any time that they want, without the restriction of sitting down in front of the TV at a specific time that is dictated for them. They can kind of choose to access it as they wish. We also want to have news clippings as well, so short-form video content. The news clippings would include all 3 phases: audio, video, and editorial, and would essentially be short-form bursts of whatever the latest trending topics are in the news today. I think as I designed this platform, I kind of took in the perspective, how do I, I'm always on the go. How do I consume news? And it's usually in a quick article or a quick, news update that I'll hear on the radio or on a podcast, or just a quick short form video that I see on USA Today or something like that. So I want to kind of take what I, kind of see there as the trending, the future of journalism and journalism distribution, and I see that in short form bursts, so news clips, in audio content, video content, and editorial content. And also short-form video content. With the internet, the rise of a lot of popular short-form videos, cat videos, comedy videos, some other different things, short-form interviews, you name it. Cylinder's going to explore it, and we're going to kind of go from there. But short-form video content is definitely a popular fixture of the internet, and we want to kind of capitalize on that. Okay, so moving on. So we have a couple of multimedia samples here. So I kind of created a video teaser trailer for Cylinder, which you can click the link here, and I'll post these slides so you can actually click these links and see for yourself. I'm not going to bore you with listening to an audio thing on the screen capture, but I created a couple of multimedia samples which you can click and enjoy, and feel free to let me know what you think. Just to kind of give you a glimpse of some of the content that I would theoretically put on this platform. Okay, so for the business model, Cylinder is going to be free for all users to use. There's a lot of platforms. I think to gain the advantage here, a lot of platforms rely on a subscription model, where the user would have to pay a monthly fee, usually $7 or $9, $10, $15 a month, to access these platforms and the content of their choosing. I think Cylinder gains an advantage by being free to users to access on any device of their choosing. The way we will counteract that and make this model successful is by supporting it with digital advertising and branded content. So digital advertising, we'd have pre-roll videos in front of every short-form content video. Every original series will have some sort of pre-roll video or a couple of pre-roll commercials beforehand. I think it's a small trade-off for being completely free, especially since we're going to be creating high-quality content. We're also going to branded content throughout Cylinder's original programming. That'll kind of help generate revenue in that aspect. So branded content, just to kind of explain a little bit, where subliminally we'll have product placement or some other different unique tactics in the programming that are kind of embedded, kind of blurs the line a little bit between traditional commercial advertising and original content. So that's the idea, is to kind of weave in sponsored messaging into the programming. So that's kind of how we would begin, at least in the first phase of Cylinder's platform, by using this model here. Advertising and branded content would be supporting the platform, at least after the first year of operation. As we progress into the future, again, it's depending on how the market reacts to the Cylinder platform. I would then plan to launch an on-demand subscription service, which would feature premium and licensed content, as we've mentioned before, similar to how Netflix would work. In addition to a pay-per-view model channel, so special live events, sporting events that you can't get everywhere else. Maybe it's for boxing or mixed martial arts, or concerts and other live events. So I'd kind of have, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet for digital media. To put it in a one-line elevator speech, Cylinder is digital media without limits, and it's literally everything you can imagine, from your favorite podcast to your favorite YouTube-style video, to your favorite lifestyle blog, and to accessing a major sporting event. It's all going to be here, or binge watching your favorite sitcom. It's all going to be here on the Cylinder platform. Okay, so to kind of dive into the competition a little bit, a couple of competitors here from the get-go would be Vice, Vox, and Complex. I picked these three because of their demographics. They're typically in that millennial age 18 to 34 demographic that I think is prone to use these kind of platforms. So this is the kind of, I'm a big fan of these three platforms, and they're doing really well in their own respects, and I want to kind of model after them a little bit from a content standpoint and how they are able to utilize multiple platforms. So as we mentioned before, the target demographic is millennial men and women ages 18-34. I simply picked this demographic because I think they're the most prone age demographic to using these digital platforms, and I think it begins with the content that we were going to create. I think the millennial men and women are perfect for this platform, and I think they would react really well to it. But again, only time will tell. Okay, so the timeline for developing and the concept of Cylinder and then bringing it to market. The first phase would be prototype development. So we design the mock-up and make it a working model, essentially, and then show off the design in front of a group, a focus group, to get feedback on the critique and see how they like and the reaction, their constructive criticism, obviously, and how we can kind of improve it. And then once it's working, we do beta testing where we give it to a group of people, and then they can kind of work around with the platform and see what they like and what features they don't like, and recommendations that they may have that we may take into account, and gain their feedback and see how we can kind of put it to work in our favor. The second phase would be content development. So we'd have to get producers on board, content creators on board, and a team of people to write, produce, and distribute content on the Cylinder platform. So we'd need people to produce original series, we need people to host podcasts or sign deals with podcasters, and or hire them outright, and then in addition to writers and editors to produce editorial content. Probably the most expensive. This would probably be the most expensive phase in this project. In addition to generating awareness, just to kind of test the waters a little bit and see how the market reacts and what kind of buzz we can generate for the platform in the market to kind of tailor how we approach the launch phase. And of course, gaining additional feedback throughout this entire process from all parties involved. And then phase 3 would be to secure financing, because without capital, project would not be possible. So we would need financing, and then we'd need to sign advertisers, which essentially is the lifeblood of the Cylinder platform, to ensuring the long-term success and growth advertisers and sponsors are indeed needed. And then it's all about getting the word out through creating strategic marketing campaigns to bring Cylinder into the market, and getting the word out and attracting subscribers and potential people to watch and consume the content. And then once everything is all aligned and in place, we launch the platform to the market and make it free to use. We put it up on all app stores. We would essentially launch it online through a cloud-based platform so people can access it in a web browser, in addition to all their platforms as well. So that's the timeline for bringing the Cylinder platform to life. And then going to market, I essentially drew up 6 different elements that would be needed to bring the Cylinder platform to life. So essentially, it would be a project manager, which I would be myself, to oversee the entire process from the concept all the way to bringing the actual working model to the market. We need to secure financing, whether it's through investors or raising money one way or another. We need financing. As we mentioned before, we need producers and content creators, because without content, there would be no reason for people to utilize the platform. And we need a software infrastructure development team to kind of build the platform from the ground up and make sure and test with addition to quality assurance to assure that the model works completely without problems. Because with a lot of issues and bugs, it could potentially cause users to shy away from using the platform. We would need a team devoted to marketing and public relations to kind of get the story out there into the general public, to generate awareness. Again, so they all kind of work interchangeably together. And then we need a sales team to secure advertising sponsorships. So these 6 elements all kind of play into each other. All of them are completely necessary, and without one of them, the entire project would essentially it would not be able to be possible. So these are the 6 elements that I kind of drew up here for bringing the Cylinder platform to life. And then sources. So I'm gonna kind of draw. I'm gonna pull up my prototype that I created. I'm gonna show you guys how this works. Again, this is just a mock-up. Okay. So at the beginning page on whatever platform that the person decides to use, you'd have a login, or you could sign up if you're not a user already. So you click one. Let's say you want to click to sign up. It would come to a page where you'd register your account, the username, a name, obviously email and password. You register your account. Make it nice and easy and simple, and not because I think having too much is going to kind of turn people off, and that's not what we want to do. We want to get them to utilize the platform and use it often and consume our content. So then it will kind of bring you to the main page here, as we mentioned before, with how the tabs work up top. I kind of created just a sample original series screenshot here. So essentially, you'd be able to click to play, and it would bring up this original series that I created. This one would be Exhilarating Expeditions, essentially a travel channel type of show where a host kind of visits a different place and explores the culture of a specific place every episode. So that's just kind of a concept down here. I've got a couple more. We'd have a cooking show, kind of delectable for days. So it would be short form food videos, essentially a different recipe, each short form video content, and showing how to make it, kind of in an expedited version. As mentioned before, the podcasts, long form interview conversations. Just some other videos, like car videos and some other different things, and I kind of came up with a series of blogs, motivational blogs, and some other different aspects. So when you click the text tab, it will bring you a suite of different blogs. On the video page here, again, it'll bring up solely dedicated videos. So we have your cat videos over here. We'd have another drama series down here in the lower part. Right here, we called Vegas Detectives, just like a crime show. We'd have a show here dedicated to, it's me if you haven't picked up on it yet, dedicated to all things weddings and bridal and fashion and everything involved with planning a wedding. Another fashion show, that's my wife right there, Natalie, thank you for participating. Some different fashion videos and the latest trends and all that sort of thing. And again, I kind of came up with a little sitcom up here, Happy Heights, and it would just be an original comedy series. So I kind of illustrate this way to show you that it's not just short form video content where it's just in real life stuff where it's like people traveling or giving their tips on fashion, or we want to have original scripted content as well. So that's why I kind of instilled these screenshots here a little bit. And then if you move over to the audio tab, it brings up your suite of podcasts. So kind of came up with a couple different concepts here. Beyond the Decks would be a baseball podcast. You can click to listen, and it would then open up platform, and it would allow you to either share it to your social media platform, or would then allow you to kind of open it up into or download it to your iTunes platform or Google Play platform, whatever your platform that you utilize for podcasts. We have a basketball podcast. We mentioned Coffee with Carl, a music podcast, and a car podcast. And then the text tab over here, as we mentioned before, is kind of just different blogs. It'll be a suite of a variety of different blogs spanning different topics because we want to. While we do have a specific demographic in mind with millennials, we want it to be kind of broad enough where we can attract the largest and broadest audience possible. So we kind of have a food blog about different topics. I just kind of came up with, people like to rate different pizza places and wings and restaurants, so kind of with a pizza blog here. Everybody loves cats, and so do I. So I kind of came up with this blog here. Tips for finance, personal finance, and buying your first home. And again, we mentioned before, motivation. And then kind of feature stories. So kind of Jersey Shore Summers would be just a blog dedicated to, memories at the shore and all that sort of thing. So that is pretty much it. That's my prototype and my presentation. Hope you enjoyed, and I want to thank you for watching. And I'm going to upload these slides so you can utilize the links as well. I appreciate the time, and enjoy. Thank you.